Good morning. Welcome to Leadership Breakfast at First Baptist Church. It's Monday, right after Thanksgiving. And it's appropriate because, here we're in chapter 8 of Mark. That's where we're going to be this week. Our focus verse is going to be the second half of verse 23. And kind of an unusual focus, but it shows us where most of us are. And we'll get to that in just a moment. But chapter 8 starts out with, a great story. Another feeding of 4,000 people. The people had been with Jesus for 3 days being taught. So they probably came prepared, kind of like the people that went to Woodstock maybe, or these big music festivals. They were prepared for the first day. Maybe even the first night and into the second day. But it's that second night and that third day and that third night, whether it's some music festival or whether it's, being lost in the wilderness, an illness, just the other things of our life. And, that first day isn't the big deal. It's as we go on. So these people, Jesus was afraid to just send them away and say, oh, school's over. Y'all go home now. He was concerned about that because he knew they had extended themselves. So he asked the disciples, what do we have? And he gets the same, man-based response from the disciples. Oh, how are we going to get enough food to feed these people? Instead of saying, Jesus, this is what we do have. They were focusing on what they didn't have, not what they do have. And Jesus said, bring what you do have. They had 7 loaves of bread and a few fish. So Jesus blesses the bread and starts giving it out. And then he blesses the fish and gives it out. And when they're done, they collect 7 baskets of leftovers. So Jesus had provided for more than 4,000 people from a very, very small amount. And that's what we experience in our own life. We don't have to give very much to get our 7 baskets of leftovers. So as Jesus filled the people, he got in a boat and went away. And, the way Mark is writing it, like this story, he gets in a boat and he goes to another town called Dalmanutha, this known place. Mark's very specific about where Jesus went. And segues right into, and Jesus is encountered by the Pharisees who came out and began to argue with him, seeking from him a sign from heaven to test him. There's no doubt that people were in boats following Jesus. The disciples were there to give testimony. There were 4,000 people that he had just fed. There were thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people. But the Pharisees wanted to argue with Jesus. They wanted him to give them a sign. And that's where we'll pick up tomorrow. We'll pick up Jesus' response to that request. But these Pharisees, they just, whatever they had never would have been enough. And that's where Jesus asked a man tomorrow in Mark 8, chapter 20, verse 23, the second half. Jesus asked this man, do you see anything? Do you see anything? And that's what we have to do in our own life. Do we see anything in our own life that we might need help with? Thank you. It's a great day.
Amen.